Hello, hello, YouTube. What's going down? What's going down? It's Friday. We can be a little bit more laid back on a Friday, right? All right. So just want to make sure that we're on here. I'm a little early. It's so nice out. Want to get outside. So let's see. It doesn't say we're. Oh, it says we're on. There we go. Look at that. Cool. All right. So there you are. What's going on, guys and gals? How we doing? How we doing? All right. I got all kinds of tools here that I want to share with you. The BCT bell, my new vibrator. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, but while we're waiting for some friends to get on here, this is a really cool tool. I did a whole video about how to use this with Redmond Real Salt. Where's my Redmond Real Salt? Right here. If someone is coming on and wants to share that video, basically, after you go out in public, it's good to clean your nose. Now, I don't have any randomized placebo-controlled studies that show that if you clean your nose after being in public, it's going to cure the coronavirus. I think it's a good way to clean your nose, though, anyway, especially before bed. So you take this, you fill it with Redmond Real Salt. And actually, while I have a few of you on here, if someone could actually post this in the chat, what I'm going to do is just keep talking as I'm talking to you. Dr. Ken Berry and I were super excited about this, and he shared it. So let me see here. We were talking about this in January. The water pick. Ooh, where did I share this guy? How to clean? Oh, it was October. Okay. So I apologize for some of you that are coming on and you're like, why is this guy doing a video and he's staring down? I just forgot to put this in the chat, and I want all of you to go check out this video. So, something that a lot of people are not talking about is cleaning your hands, right? Which is important. But remember, I recommend when you're in public and you're walking around, especially right now during this pandemic of the coronavirus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, you should be breathing through your nose. Remember, your nose offers another first line of defense with the cilia and some of the different things compared to just inhaling and going right into your lungs through the mouth. So remember, practice nose breathing. When you come home after you've been to Costco or you've been to the grocery store, do a little saline rinse with this tool. If you're watching this video, it's going to be in the description. If you're watching this live, it's in the chat right there. So you hook this on, you put filtered water in there, and you run it up your nose, and it can help clean out your nose. Okay, thanks for being here. I know it's Friday night. You probably have plans of watching Netflix, social distancing, doing whatever it is. But what I wanted to share with you is some of the things that can be very helpful for building up your home gym. On this channel, we talk a lot about fitness, especially the leg muscles. The legs are a very key attribute when it comes to disposing a lot of glucose. There's a lot of muscle there. And our leg tissue has been shown in many different studies to be more insulin sensitive first and to be targeted, for whatever reason, insulin resistance develops in the musculoskeletal system of the legs before it happens in the upper body. So I want you to keep your legs active. So I wanted to give you some resources that you can use to stay fit during this time when gyms are closed, starting out with the Mark Bell hip circle. Okay, so some of you know I used to be a personal trainer. Not anymore. I've been lifting weights pretty much every day, 5-6 days a week at least, since I was 14 years old. I'm 37, so you can do the math. It's been a long time. So I just want to share with you some tips that I've found to be helpful. The Mark Bell's hip circle is really helpful for doing all kinds of different squat variations, lunges, glute bridges, hip thrusts, everything like that. So if you don't yet have a hip loop, a hip circle, links are below to this. Full disclosure, those are Amazon affiliate links. We get paid a very small commission, 5%, but it does help our channel. So anytime you are shopping on Amazon, if you go to one of our videos and see a link, you do support us and what we're doing here. So that is helpful, but I would highly recommend getting a hip circle, irrespective of whether or not gyms will reopen soon or not. You need one for warming up your glutes, firing up your glutes. Remember, your glutes, your leg muscles are very important. All right, here's another band that I use all the time to activate and fire up my glutes before I do any heavy lifting. It's called Perform Better. They have a 1-800 number on here, which is kind of funny, but not a website. Anyway, I've been using these for a while. My own trainer, personal trainer Dan Stephenson, Tasha Whalen, they recommend this all the time. So It's a great thing to do at home. When I'm bored sometimes and I'm on a phone call, I'll throw this on my ankles and walk around and do these marches, and it just fires those glutes. Remember, many of us, for some of you, one of our first viral videos was with Dr. Tina Moore. And at the age of 42, Dr. Moore was going to a meeting or something, and her daughter was a teenager at the time and said, "Mom, you don't have a butt. Like, you used to have a nice butt and you don't have a butt." And that was for her a reminder that she needs to focus on her glutes and work her glutes. And so what that video that we did with Dr. Moore, a lot of people liked that back in the day. So just wanted to share with you the importance of glutes, firing them. Definitely get one of these. It'll be very helpful, not only for alleviating low back pain, but firing up your glutes before you exercise. All right. People are asking me if Corona is a scam. I don't think so. Okay. All right. So there's a list of bands that I recommend. These are from Rogue. There's an orange one, there's a blue one, there's a green one, there's a purple one, there's a black one that's really tough. I recommend getting a set of 3. Again, links are below to the set of 3 that I think are very helpful, because you can use these, for example, if you have a home pull-up bar, you can use these for that as well. For example, if you're going to do pull-ups, what you would do is one day maybe do 4 sets of 5 to 10, right? So you're doing 5 repetitions for 4 different sets. Then on another day, maybe 2 or 3 days later, what you could do is assisted pull-ups. So you're doing higher repetitions, and so that therefore you're kind of stimulating the muscle group in a different way. You can focus, say, on the negatives. You can use these. What I do is as you get older, you got to warm up more. So you can do some bicep curls with the bands. You can warm up your back. Even if you're not lifting necessarily, having a structured workout, you could do some band pull-aparts to get your rear delts and your rhomboids kind of activated. So these bands, I travel with these all the time. Highly, highly recommend them. Okay. And friends, if you're digging the content, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Let us know how we're doing. Let me turn on my light real quick because it's kind of getting dark here. It's getting dark. All right, so we're back. So here's another thing that I strongly suggest is getting the BCT bell. As many of you know, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, we had Brett Contreras, the author of the Glute Lab, on the channel. We traveled down to San Diego and checked out his amazing studio and caught up with him. The BCT bell replaces the need to get a whole set of kettlebells. So you can do all kinds of goblet squats. You can do deadlifts, sumo deadlifts. You can do upright rows. There's so many things you can do with this BCT belt. Now, this is not available on Amazon, but it is available on his website, brettcontreras.com, BCT belt. And his book, by the way, which is linked below. If you haven't read it, The Glute Lab, during this time when you're stuck at home, it's super important. And so, friends, I just want to let you know, or get some feedback from you. If this is helpful, please hit that like button. That lets me know that I should do more fitness stuff. If it's not, I'll just stick to the science. Okay. This is from Mark Bell. We've been on his podcast before. He's been on our podcast. He's a great guy, great friend. So for pull-up variations, okay, or pull-ups, for push-up variations, basically what this slingshot enables you to do is to really overload your triceps and get yourself a little bit of a variation. So I like this. When I travel, I bring this with me so that one day a week, maybe I'm doing all kinds of different push-ups. I elevate my feet to hit the upper chest to get more shoulders. Maybe I'll do a narrow grip, a wide grip. But with the slingshot, if I want to overload my triceps, I can do higher repetitions and it's a little bit easier on the elbows. So I suggest this. This is about $40. I use it quite frequently. It goes in my suitcase when I travel to do interviews. These 4 things are always coming with me, okay? I got the BCT bell. No, that's not coming with me. Just kidding. I got the red band for pull-aparts. I got my hip circle from Mark Bell, and I got the slingshot and this little blue band here. Again, links are below for all these things. One thing I don't travel with is this guy, but I should, but it broke. Okay, so let's talk about the ACE2 gene and vitamin D. Chris Kresser recently uploaded a video on his Instagram and basically retracting his recommendation for supplementing with vitamin D and vitamin A right now. And I think that's really potentially a source of confusion for a lot of people. I immediately got flooded with direct messages on Instagram saying, hey, Mike, what's up with this ACE2 receptor? Now, what you need to understand is this ACE2 receptor is essentially how the spike protein on the SARS-CoV-2 virus gets into the body. It's one of the transport mechanisms by way that the virus gets into cells. So I think there's two sides of this coin that we need to consider, not just the viral entry, but what does the ACE2 gene expression offer to the body, and how does that protein, what does it do in terms of homeostatic functions within the body? And that's what I want to focus on and clear up some confusion, and just remind all of you, the European College of Cardiology did not recommend anyone change their angiotensin receptor blocker or ACE inhibitor enzyme medication. So the data's not saying that, and because those medicines do affect the ACE2 receptor expression, meaning the density of that. So there's not compelling enough evidence yet at this point to tell people to stop taking their medications. And due to the small, I would say, and remember this gene expression and receptor is found not just in the lung tissue, it's found in the fat cells, it's found within the liver, it's found in the kidney, it's found all throughout the body. So we don't really know if supplementing vitamin D or vitamin A increases the receptor density of this to supraphysiologic levels, and therefore increasing the ability of the virus to penetrate your body. So if you're taking normal physiologic levels of vitamin D and vitamin A within, I would say within the international units of 1,500 IUs of each, up to 6,000 international units during this time of year, I wouldn't consider that super physiologic and thinking that it would somehow alter the gene expression so much that you're going to predispose yourself to getting blasted by more viral load. Because we know that people with different viral loads have different levels of cytokine storms. And so it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio. The more receptors you have, the more viral load, the more cytokine storm. There's people that have a high viral load with very minimal, if any, symptoms. And what we do know is that the disease comorbidities, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, things like that, there's a reduced gene expression and receptor expression of ACE2, yet those individuals have the most disease severity, which brings me to the point number 2 that I wanted to make here, and that is the ACE2 gene and the byproducts of that gene expression have protective homeostatic functions in the body, meaning they offer some sort of protective effect. And it could be that if we do get this infection, if we do get the SARS-CoV-2 virus comes into our body, penetrates our tissues and starts replicating, we get a viral load. It could be that the lung tissue is able to repair itself and maintain normal homeostatic functions because of the ACE2 gene. So there's kind of two things we need to consider. The virus getting in by way of this receptor, and also the beneficial properties that this receptor and its gene products, how they affect the body, particularly the homeostatic functions within the lung tissue. So I think it's premature to say that we know everything about it and to abstain or avoid vitamin D and vitamin A supplementation. Anyway, so just want to hop on here. I know a lot of you have better things to be doing on a Friday night than this. I'm going to go hike with my family in just a moment here. Mark Miller has a great question. Mark says, search melatonin of COVID-19. It's an NLRP3 inflammasome inhibitor. Yeah, so Mark, great thing to keep in mind. I supplement with melatonin every single night. Our own Myoscience melatonin, I take 3 to 6 milligrams every night. I think melatonin is very effective and doing a lot of different things. Take melatonin. It's awesome. I love it. Also, the ketogenic diet has been shown to affect this same NLRP3 inflammasome that you mentioned, Mark. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thank for that. Derek Hill says, hey, Mike, I remember Dr. Gundry talking about vitamin A and says it was closer to blah, blah, blah. Joe says, it's a shame you're using this pandemic to push products. Be more like Thomas DeLauer and avoid talking about this. You are not an expert on this, and it's reckless to speak as if you are. Hey, Joe, I really appreciate you with your criticism, but I'm not, these aren't products that I make. These are products that I use, and I suggest to clients, irrespective of whether or not there's a disease pandemic or not. So if you don't like the way that I conduct my videos, I would welcome you to watch any other videos in the world, besides this channel, this is not the first time you've been critical of me, and I'm open to criticism. But yeah, I'm recommending home fitness equipment for people that don't have access to a gym. If you don't work out and you don't care about your body, that's your own prerogative. But I encourage health promotion on this channel. That's why I have this channel, and I encourage people to be fit. So I'm giving them tools that can assist them in their health promotion and physical fitness. So again, Joe, if you don't like that, I would please suggest you watch someone else's YouTube channel. But thanks for the criticism. Dr. Berkobin says, I think you recommended regular doses of vitamin D against high doses. Yeah, so thanks for that. I just saw the email. I got flooded with questions on that. And again, Dr. Berkobin, I don't think there's sufficient data either way to say that we know enough about whether or not vitamin D increases ACE2 receptor expression and so forth. Again, the European College of Cardiology is not recommending people adjust their medication levels. And we know that those medications certainly have a super physiologic affect and to a very high degree affect this enzyme receptor level. Admiral Minty Beard says, hey from Sweden, your videos with Dr. Fung helped me a lot. Thank you for that. Good to hear. Action above all else says hello in the Seattle area. What's going on? Yeah, Colin. I mean, dude, this Joe guy, he's criticized before. I think this Joe individual, and I think a lot of people have this poor man's mentality, and they get offended when people promote things or sell things, but everyone's promoting, everyone's selling. So look, I mean, you guys don't have to use my affiliate links if you don't want to buy the products that I'm recommending, that I personally use and recommend to my clients to say fit at home. But we make 5%, which is very, very minimal. So anyway, Nikki says, yeah, Jacob, appreciate you being here. So anyway, guys and gals, just wanted to hop on. Jim Maddox says, can you talk about vitamin D and lung infection? So this is something that I remember reading way back in 2008. And this was that there has never been an influenza outbreak during the summer months in any given region. Now, we know that influenza virus is, similar in that it's a respiratory virus, very similar to the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes the coronavirus disease, the COVID-19 disease. But there's never been an influenza outbreak in the summer. So there is some sort of correlation, causal correlation between vitamin D levels, sunlight, and reduced incidence of respiratory disease. So what should we say about this? I think the best thing is just, take physiologic amounts of vitamin D, make sure you're getting sufficient vitamin A, and get out in the sun. So literally after I hit end on this video and say goodnight to you all, I'm gonna go outside. I've been outside. I recommend all of you getting outside and getting sufficient sun exposure. I think it's very helpful. River Savage says, your wife is awesome, lean and pretty. I like the athletic look so much. I agree with that. Being physically fit is not only good for your health, for your resiliency, for your blood sugar metabolism, and much more. So that's what we're trying to promote here. And so I'm sorry that I offended some people, but these are tools that I recommend. Total investment for some of the tools that I'm suggesting here that are available on Amazon. Oh, and by the way, Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist are amazing resources for buying home fitness tools so that you can stay fit during this time when gyms are closed. So exercise bands, things like that are things you're going to have to buy. Hey, little buckwheat, you can come on in. You're going to have to buy exercise bands. I don't know that you can find them on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but if you want to use something like the BCT bell, it can be very helpful for, basically you don't have to buy a bunch of kettlebells. What you can do is take a few 10 pounds or 25 pounds and you got yourself basically a kettlebell set right from home. Whew. All right. Colin, what's happening? Colin says, hey, thanks for your time here. About to work with Dr. Canestraro. That's awesome, Colin. So you must be in Toronto, which is great. Anyway, so Jacob says, Mike, do you recommend long-term fasting for immune system buildup? You know what? During this time, I wouldn't suggest a prolonged fast unless you're really morbidly overweight. We do know that there can be some immune suppression with prolonged fasting. It just has to do with reallocation of resources. So I would suggest, a 36 to 48 hour type fast. and then a refeed. Again, unless someone is morbidly obese and has a lot of blood sugar issues and things like that, I would, right now we know the immune system, mTOR, the mechanistic target of rapamycin that inhibits autophagy, has a lot of immunological protective attributes. So I'm not a fan of prolonged fasting in this sort of situation or context. I think we need to be vigilant about our nutrition. I also don't think eating every 2 to 3 hours is ideal either. We know blood sugar issues and things like that can affect our body's metabolism and immunity. So anyway, last question here from Mary. Mary, thanks for being here. And thanks to all of you for being here. There's a question here about drinking your own piss, which is kind of interesting. Mary says, Mike, what do you think about high dose vitamin C? Should we be cautious from possible oxalate formation from vitamin C? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'm a bigger fan of selenium and zinc. Is vitamin C helpful? Sure. Do we need to all start taking super physiologic amounts of vitamin C? Probably not. But that's just me. So yeah, I mean, if you take vitamin C, fine. Is it going to cure coronavirus? Probably not. River Savage says, the fitness information is great. People need to hear it. I find that I do need to warm up more as I'm getting older. River Savage, I agree 100%. So that's why I always use these. I use my red band to warm up and do some band pull-aparts to warm up the biceps or triceps if I'm doing back work or chest work respectively. I use this little band right here for activating my glutes. I mean, these are all things that I highly recommend and recommend to you. So again, the video about how to clean your nose with this guy is linked below. This is super helpful. Since I've turned people onto this, I've heard just amazing feedback. If you ever go to bed and you can't breathe through your nose, clean your nose with this and some red mineral salts, and a full video is linked below and in the chat, so that can be helpful. So anyway, all, I appreciate you tuning in. Stay, safe out there. Try to practice this social distancing. We only have one more week that we got to really focus on this per some experts, and hopefully we'll be on the other side and flatten this curve, and we can get back to life as usual. So hope you have a great weekend. We'll catch up with all of you very, very soon. Until then, be well. Talk to you later. Bye.